I am Maria Vladimirovna from Moldova. Hello, dear strangers. When the war began, Mother, my brother, and I went on the run from the approaching Germans, not considering even for one moment that we might not survive. And Mother was just 30 years old. We fled on a train with thousands of others when it was suddenly bombed by the Germans. There were human heads, bodies, arms, legs, everywhere. When the Germans came on foot to inspect their work to make sure no one was left alive, Mother pretended to be dead, covering us with her body. In this way, she saved us. When the Nazis were gone, we ran, not knowing where we were going. A big winter storm had started. It was late in the evening, and we were exhausted from running and very cold and hungry. And Mother saw a light in a window and knocked on the door. We were in rags covered in snow. The homeowners let us in and seated us by the wood-burning stove to thaw and warm us. Soon, Germans were coming toward the house. The host became scared and pushed us out the door, saying, "Run, run fast." We trudged through fields of deep snow. We didn't know where to go. So Mother decided to go to her sister's. Aunt Rachel lived in the ghetto in Rybnica with her young son. Her husband was murdered at the beginning of the war, drowned in the Dniester River with a rock tied to his neck. Aunt Rachel hid us in an old abandoned cellar. The Germans came to our cellar with a large dog, grabbed our mother and took her away. We cried and whimpered and waited for a long time, but we never saw her again and knew nothing of her destiny. One day, the Germans came and took us away, together with other children. We were forced into a cow barn, locked outside with a heavy bar. We heard some barely audible voices. Under our feet, people were still alive after having been shot. I mean, they were squirming and thrashing. I hear their moans. We were forced to crawl on top of these miserable, dying people. Those children who refused were immediately shot. We were swimming on these bodies like on waves, and the moans terrified us. It cannot be described in words. God forbid that anyone will ever experience what we experienced in that barn. Finally, they brought us to the town of Balti, to a building that was fenced with barbed wire. We spent, almost 2 years there while the Germans conducted medical experiments on us and beat us. There was barely any food and no one to help us. Several older girls were taken away, raped, and then burned. By the grace of God, the Russians advanced and the Germans abandoned us. Now I am old, but thanks to you, I feel protected. May God grant you good health and many years to live. Zane, forgive me for these details. I have never told this to anyone. Maria.